Hello everybody, welcome to Founders and Creators. Today on our show we have Jackson, aka Colonello. He is a YouTube creator with 2 successful channels, one where he creates videos on all things RuneScape. This channel has 73,000 subscribers and a massive 25 million channel views. His second channel, titled Nello, covers internet history, crypto, and more. Jackson, I'm so happy that you're here today. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Great. Thank you so much. Very happy to be here.
Thanks. No, me too. I'm super excited. Let's dive into these questions. So, obviously, in the beginning, to start off, how did you get started on YouTube?
So I actually started way back in I want to say 2008. I was still in middle school, but I wanted to do YouTube so bad. So my mom agreed to sign up for a YouTube account for me and like a Google account and everything. And at the time we had a Mac, and there wasn't very good screen recording software that was free back then. So I would take screenshots of whatever I was doing, and I would put it into iMovie, and it would do the Ken Burns effect. It would slowly zoom in. So that channel never really went anywhere. But after that, I moved on to a Minecraft channel for a little bit, which did decently well before I closed that, and now I'm here.
Oh, nice. Well, that's the second part of that question is, when did you get started or involved in gaming? Has that been a whole thing? And then obviously, when did you get involved with RuneScape?
Yeah, so RuneScape, I actually started playing around 2008 as well. And a friend originally showed it to me on Miniclip. And so that goes way back.
Oh, yeah.
But prior to that, I had a PlayStation 2. I played a little bit of Spyro and Call of Duty, but other than that, I was still very new to gaming. So RuneScape was kind of my first, I guess you could say, real game, or real time taking it seriously. And I've just kind of played that ever since. I've taken breaks here and there, but even that first original channel was RuneScape skits using those screenshots.
Wow, that's incredible. So then what made you decide to focus then on RuneScape from a YouTube perspective?
That's actually a tough one. So I guess it was just because I'd played it my whole life, and I want to say I was pretty knowledgeable on the game, but the more I researched it, the less confident I was in that. But I started the channel, I just went for it. I got a lot of stuff wrong in the beginning, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's always a learning experience. I mean, it's really unique to me because you've had a successful career featuring a game that came out 20 more years. I think 21 years ago now or something like that.
Yeah, about there.
Yeah. But that's proof that it's not always about what's new and trendy. So why do you think you have such success playing an older game like RuneScape while many other gaming creators fail to do so?
I think it's because RuneScape, the player base is kind of always there. There's a saying in the RuneScape community where it's you quit RuneScape, but never forever. So a lot of the people that played RuneScape 10 years ago are still playing today. But I guess because of how old RuneScape was, all the creators back in back when I originally started in 2008, I guess it's the level of what's the word, of production level. The production level just wasn't quite there yet. And I guess that's I'm probably going a little off track here, but I guess that's sort of how I think I was able to be successful with it. Is I took a look at other niches and sort of applied that type of technique to my own videos. Because what I originally started with is, I guess it was more a primitive version of what I do now. It was more so top 10s, and it was still RuneScape history and stuff. But it isn't quite what it was today, but it was also, in my opinion, better than a lot of what came before it. So I offered something unique, took from other niches, and sort of combined that into this niche that hadn't seen much attention in that space.
No, that's a really good answer, and it's fascinating to me because I played RuneScape growing up, and it became pretty relevant in my life when I was playing it, but then I kind of got out of it. But then I started to see RuneScape videos pop up on my feed, and I was like, oh, people are still really into this,
right?
And that kind of blew my mind. So I guess what do you think attributes to the fandom being so strong like throughout these years? Do you think it's because it's Jagex has just created such a unique game and experience, or do you think it's more about the community? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a good one. So Jagex has never really been in the players' favor all these years. Like they can do the best they can, and the players will still like screech about how horrible they are. But I think part of what it was is originally it was a big nostalgia factor because they brought back the 2007 servers in like 2013, and that was sort of like a rebirth for the game because right before then with RuneScape 3, the player base had like really declined. It had gone from like 200,000 people online to probably like an average of like 40,000. And this game sort of revived that and brought back people's nostalgia. So I'm kind of interested where it'll be 10 years from now. Just because I don't know how long it might last. But I think for right now, it's definitely a nostalgia thing. And then it's just such a unique game. Like when I've quit before, I've looked for alternative games, but they just kind of don't exist.
That's so
RuneScape's
true.
very much its own thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially with the release of like RuneScape Mobile, like
Right.
I have friends that were playing on their phones, and then I was like, oh my, I was like, I would have gotten nothing done if I was a kid and I had
Yup.
RuneScape Mobile. Like I would have seriously, I would have been grinding in class, like doing it all.
Exactly.
It's crazy, crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So, I noticed you're friends with like tons of other big RuneScape content creators, and you've done quite a few collaborations in the past with them. How important is collaboration to you from a social media and content creator standpoint?
Over the last year, it's definitely gotten way more important for me. Prior to then, my collaborations were very like few and far between. I don't know. It's what I realize now is like having started doing collaborations, especially in the last year, I've done so many of them. I'm at the point where I'm like, I should have started doing this sooner because not only is it a really rewarding experience, it also helps grow both channels, which is especially useful if my channel say smaller than the other one, and even if it's not, it exposes me to a new audience. So I definitely say collaborations are very important to me now, at least. Whereas maybe a year or so ago, I was like, I don't know, I was too like almost nervous to do them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing one today, so it's working
Right,
out.
exactly.
So then I do have to ask, you're friends with other YouTubers like Wild Mudkip and stuff, and like other big, like I saw you guys did a vlog together at some point. How did
Yeah.
that relationship come up? Like, how did that kind of originate?
That was probably like 5 or so years ago now. I don't know. I guess I believe I met Mudkip specifically through Twitch. He was one of like the top streamers at the time, and oh wait, no, I remember now. Okay. So, on my channel, he actually started commenting when I had about 5,000 subscribers and he had like 20 or 30,000. And he would comment like every other video or so. And that's when I went to go check him out on Twitch. And we actually later figured out we live about 5 minutes away from each other.
What?
Yeah. So, he's moved since then, but he still lives pretty close to me, and I'm actually probably going to go see him tomorrow along with a couple other creators. But it was just kind of a small world how that happened, and I guess through him and that experience, I ended up meeting other creators. Like I went to the last RuneFest like 3 or 4 years ago now because, you know, they haven't done one since then because they don't want anyone getting sick. Which actually, last RuneFest, I did get sick, which was kind of ironic. But yeah, through RuneFest too, I met a lot of creators I'd never spoken to in my life before. But it's just been kind of a crazy experience how that works. Very, very small world.
No, it really is. I mean, what are the odds that you lived only like
Right.
5 minutes away from him? That's fascinating. Because, you know, I'm like where I live, I'm like always looking for people that kind of do the same thing that I do.
Right.
And I'm like, I get super excited when I meet somebody. Like, I saw this TikToker on my campus the other day, and he was making TikToks. And I was like, oh, you know, I introduced myself, and turns out like he's a big TikToker, and I was like, oh no way, like he only lives 20 minutes away from me, but we obviously
cool.
do two completely different things, but still it's like it's always exciting to see somebody in the wild, as they say, like who does the same thing that you do. So
yeah,
that's
I've
super
had a
cool.
similar experience. Like I was in Arizona, and my sister pointed out a YouTuber with like 1 million subscribers, and I was just like, I was trying to figure out who they were. I never did, but I just sat there and I was like, this is kind of crazy.
Right, right, yeah. Well, so then to shift gears just a little bit, you know, while on the topic of like other creators, I guess, in your experience, what is one common mistake that you see maybe niche YouTubers or even gaming YouTubers make primarily?
Right. In my opinion, for that one, it's probably just a lot of like, I'd say maybe like too much fluff, too much like, not straight to the point. Like there's the classic meme where it's like, hi guys, welcome to my video. I haven't uploaded in 3 months. Here's why. And then 2 minutes in, they'll actually get into the topic. I think it's just there's too much fluff, maybe not enough put into the editing phase. Like all the focus is put into like the recording, making sure like that's perfect and having the perfect gear, that type of thing. Whereas it should be more so, I guess, tweaking after the fact, in my opinion.
That's interesting. Well, no, that's a good perspective. So then, how much like is the editing process for you and like other gaming creators? Like how much time do you spend on some of these videos, would you say?
It depends on the video, but for me, it's if I'm doing like a long form research video, the research portion probably takes anywhere from like 8 to 12 or so hours usually over the course of a couple days, and then the editing probably matches that, if not exceeds it. I'm slowly getting faster at it, which is nice, but it's another pitfall I guess to avoid is maybe over tweaking as well, because there's points where I'll have a solid video ready and I'll spend maybe an extra 2 hours to fix like 10 seconds of it, when maybe that wasn't worth it.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
But yeah.
Before we talk about your other channel, which I do want to cover, another RuneScape related question is, you know, obviously RuneScape right now is your primary thing, but have you ever thought of potentially like expanding into another game, or is RuneScape just primarily what you plan on doing with that channel in the future?
Probably just RuneScape, because I did try in the past to upload like a different sort of video, which actually I later re-uploaded to my second channel. Which it was sort of on my second channel. It's like a video about a magician who sued the Pokemon company, and I guess it was a little different than my normal RuneScape content, which might be why it might not have worked. But I sort of tried it once, and I was like, I guess I'll just leave this RuneScape and try things out on a second channel instead, which has worked out.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue, because I wanted to ask you about that second channel, Nello. What made you decide to create that second channel?
I guess it's because I've taken YouTube full time now, and I've always wanted to talk about things like that. In my free time over the past 2 years, I've been like very much into like finance and stuff like that, and I wanted to do a finance channel, but like I don't know enough to to be able to do that. So I was like, well, at least stuff like I enjoy stuff like crypto, and there's a lot of history there, and I did some searching, and all the history videos about it are basically non-existent. But I guess I wanted to be able to talk about more subjects that interest me without having to like look at my normal channel and be like, oh, that's a 10 out of 10 instead of a maybe 1, 2, or 3.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And you know, it's funny, I notice all these people, I mean, pretty much almost every guest we've had on the show has like multiple channels. I think only two of them out of your number 8 doesn't. But yeah, like everybody has a second channel or a second project, or you know, whatever else it is, because YouTube is such an exciting landscape, and sometimes it's hard to just be restricted into like one niche or just one thing.
Right.
So how did you get, you know, monetized so fast on the second channel? Like it took you, I'm not sure how long, I think six months. You have 4,000 subscribers, so I don't know when you got monetized, but you know, what did that process look like, and you know, how did you do it?
So I think it was actually closer to 3, and I got I guess I could say I got a little lucky because there was one video on that channel that just absolutely blew up, where I kind of accidentally trend jacked another video, because there was like a meme going around where it was like, because the video that blew up was like a little documentary about the time like Valve, the gaming company, got hacked, all the way back in the day. There was like a big FBI heist and everything, and I thought it was an entertaining subject, but maybe not entertaining enough to blow up as much as it did. But it did because there was a meme where it was like, if the Valve in Valve's office gets stolen, they'll release, I think, like their next game or something like that. And it was like a tweet of that. And there was a tweet replying to it where they had like stolen the Valve. And that video just blew up. It got like 500,000 views. And my video, which had released around a similar time, but sort of had already like fallen stagnant because it was about Valve and it had like stolen in the title because it was like the boy who stole Valve or whatever. It was showing up in the recommended right next to it. So just one day I woke up and the curve had just like gone from flat to just straight up. And I was monetized probably like 3 or 4 days after that, which was nice.
That's incredible. So
yeah.
what's the lesson there then? to trend jack or?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I guess another video, this is the dilemma I have with the second channel, is I enjoy stuff like crypto and finance, but also the videos that have done the best are more like game company and gaming related. So I'm gonna have to experiment with that more. But I have another video on there about Flappy Bird's creator, and Flappy Bird hasn't been relevant for years. But there's like some video where it's like getting to the end of Flappy Bird or whatever that people lately have just been interested in clicking on. And my video is recommended right next to that as well. So it's sort of trend jacking as well. So I guess that seems to work for me.
Wow. That's a fascinating strategy. One that I've really never heard of before. So then, I mean, I guess in your future videos, is that something that you look for, or just kind of, if it happens, it happens?
It's definitely a little bit of both. It's a little hard sometimes because there are creators that are bigger than me. Like there was a video I wanted to do about like the Squid Game crypto scam. And by the time I sat down to do it, someone had already like beat me to the punch. Like 5 other people had, and they were all like 1 million plus subscribers. So that's a trend I don't think I could necessarily hop on. But with the more like, I guess, lower level ones, I've had success. But I do want to try eventually. Maybe going after something like super relevant and see how it goes.
No, that's fascinating. Well, I'm excited to see how that works out for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I always have to ask these 2 questions. 1, what is the biggest mistake that you've made in your YouTube career? And 2, what are you most proud of?
Biggest mistake is probably, I want to say like not collaborating sooner or more often, just because it is something I really enjoy. And it is so beneficial for both channels involved. And even if it's not, it's such a rewarding experience too. It's like I can, sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch the video after it's completed on someone else's channel. Like maybe sometimes it's like a month later and I'll go back and watch it and I'll just be like, that's me right there. I don't know. It's sort of like a I'm on TV type moment. So I do wish I started that sooner. And for the thing I'm proudest of, it's probably getting recognized by like people in the company Jagex. They make RuneScape. Just being recognized by those people. Like I went to the UK probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I reached out to one of the people that worked there, and they recognized my videos. They wanted to give me a tour, and I got a tour through their studio, and there would be like occasionally another employee would come up, they'd introduce me, and they'd be like, "Oh, I've seen that one video."
What was going through your mind when that happened? I mean, geez.
I was so nervous. Like it was probably like a 3-hour tour, but I was still like nervous the whole time. I was like, I've seen pictures of this place. I've seen these people on like Q&A streams before, but like now they're like 2 feet in front of me.
Oh my.
Very, very fun though, and very glad that happened.
Oh, that's incredible. That's a pretty legit proud moment, I'd say. Like I'm a huge I'm into Age of Empires, which is funny too because that's an older game. And it's still super popular. Like I see all these creators making these videos. Like Spirit of the Law is one. He has like I think 250,000 subscribers, and this game came out like 20 years ago. Same thing. And obviously they've had a rebirth with the definitive editions and stuff, but it's the same thing. It's just like if I met one of the creators of AoE, like I'd be like, oh my goodness, like I wouldn't even know what to like say, or did you get to ask them any questions and like get any like secret information or?
Yeah, actually, I got to see some of the stuff they were working on, but before I even got to see it, they made me sign an NDA.
Oh.
So I can't talk about any of the fun stuff, some of which hasn't come out. Actually, I don't think anything I saw came out, so who knows? They might even scrapped it. I have no
Warding?
clue.
No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
Yeah.
That would have been pretty cool to see.
That would have been super cool.
Yeah.
So, what are your future goals then for your channel and channels?
I guess the big one is 100,000 subscribers. It's still a little ways off because I usually only get maybe 1,000 subscribers a month, maybe 2,000, so it might be a year or two, but the views are still there, which I'm very happy about. Second channel, probably get to the point where I have a more consistent upload schedule, and I'm shooting for hopefully 20,000 by the end of the year. Might be a long shot, but we'll see.
Nice. No, well, that sounds phenomenal. I mean, I definitely think you have the potential. I mean, I've been watching your videos for a while now, and I think they're really good. So I definitely think you can meet those goals for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, of course. One last question. If you were to give one piece of advice to a new creator who wants to create a YouTube channel in 2022, what would it be?
It would probably be to just start, because I know that when I first started, I needed everything to be perfect, and I like, if there was even a single mistake, it would get me down so much. Or like, I thought, oh, I need a better camera or a better microphone, but I feel like with that type of mentality, a lot of times people will get stuck, and then a year from now they'll be like, oh, I never started that YouTube channel thing. And your life could be so much different if you just like started today. Like, I guess start and then learn as you go. Like, start making videos and then look up how to like optimize them. Don't like look up how to optimize them first and spend 3 months and never do anything.
No, that's fantastic advice, and I think everyone can kind of take that as like, just jump into it and then learn as you go. Learn as you go is such a good lesson to fully understand and take to heart. I mean, I'm learning as I go, as we speak.
Right.
This is
same.
like new to me, this whole interview experience, and like you're my 8th guest, so I was like just as equally nervous as I am like in the beginning, but hopefully through improvement and just constantly doing it, we can all improve and get better as we go. So, but well, great. That just about does it. I really appreciate it. But before you go, do you have anything you want me to promote or tell the audience about?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of just lately just been going to the grind, what's the phrase? I don't know.
Grinding out or going?
Yeah, just grinding out videos as usual on both my channels. So not anything too special coming up right now.
Sweet. All right. Well, everybody check his channel out. And then if you guys enjoyed, definitely subscribe for more founders and creators content. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.